Module 4, Managing Network Infrastructure. Network Configuration Basics. Network configuration basics refer to the fundamental concepts and tasks involved in setting up and configuring a computer network. This includes configuring network settings, such as IP addresses, subnet masks, gateways, DNS, domain name system, settings, and other network-related parameters. Here are some key network configuration basics. 1. IP addressing. IP addressing is a critical aspect of network configuration. It involves assigning unique IP addresses to devices on the network, such as computers, servers, routers, and switches. IP addresses are used to identify devices and enable communication over the network. IP addressing can be done manually, static IP addressing, or automatically, dynamic IP addressing using DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. 2. Subnetting. Subnetting is the process of dividing a larger IP address space into smaller, manageable subnets. Subnetting allows for better network management, improved security, and more efficient IP address allocation. Subnet masks are used to define the boundaries of subnets and determine which portion of an IP address represents the network ID and which portion represents the host ID. 3. Gateways. A gateway is a network device that serves as an entry and exit point for network traffic between different networks or subnets. It acts as a router and forwards packets between different networks, enabling communication between devices on different subnets or networks. Network configuration basics are essential for setting up and managing a computer network effectively. Proper network configuration ensures that devices on the network can communicate with each other, network services are available, and network security measures are in place to protect against unauthorized access and security threats. DHCP server configuration. DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, is a network protocol that automatically assigns IP addresses and other network configuration settings to devices on a network. Configuring a DHCP server involves setting up the server software, defining IP address scopes, and configuring various DHCP options. Here are the basic steps for DHCP server configuration. 1. Install DHCP server software. Install the DHCP server software on a server that will act as the DHCP server. In Windows Server, this can be done using the Add Roles and Features Wizard or PowerShell commands. 2. Define IP address scopes. An IP address scope is a range of IP addresses that the DHCP server can assign to devices on the network. Define one or more IP address scopes that are appropriate for your network. This includes specifying the starting and ending IP addresses of the scope, as well as the subnet mask, default gateway, DNS server, and other DHCP options. 3. Configure DHCP options. DHCP options are additional settings that can be configured and assigned to devices on the network along with IP addresses. This includes options such as DNS server addresses, domain name, WIN server addresses, NTP server addresses, and other network-related settings. Configure DHCP options based on the requirements of your network. 4. Set lease duration. DHCP leases are the duration for which an IP address is assigned to a device on the network. Set the lease duration for IP addresses in your DHCP server based on your network requirements. Shorter lease durations may be suitable for dynamic networks with frequent device changes, while longer lease durations may be appropriate for more stable networks. 5. Configure DHCP Relay Agent. If your DHCP server is not located on the same subnet as the devices that need IP address assignments, you may need to configure a DHCP Relay Agent. A DHCP relay agent forwards DHCP messages between devices on different subnets, allowing the DHCP server to assign IP addresses correctly. Configure the DHCP relay agent settings on the appropriate network devices, such as routers or Layer 3 switches. DHCP server configuration is a critical task in managing IP address assignments and network configuration in a dynamic network environment. Proper configuration ensures that devices on the network receive appropriate IP addresses and other network settings, enabling seamless communication and network operations. DNS server configuration. DNS, Domain Name System, is a fundamental component of network infrastructure that translates human-readable domain names into IP addresses, enabling devices to locate resources on the Internet and within local networks. Configuring a DNS server involves setting up the server software, defining DNS zones, and configuring various DNS settings. Here are the basic steps for DNS server configuration. 1. Install DNS server software. Install the DNS server software on a server that will act as the DNS server. In Windows Server, this can be done using the Add Roles and Features Wizard or PowerShell commands. 2. Define DNS zones. A DNS zone is a container that holds DNS records for a specific domain name. Define one or more DNS zones that are appropriate for your network. This includes defining primary zones for the domains that you own and secondary zones for domains that are hosted on other DNS servers. 3. Configure DNS records. DNS records are used to map domain names to IP addresses and provide other information about the resources associated with the domain. Configure DNS records based on the requirements of your network. This includes creating records such as records for mapping domain names to IPv4 addresses, Quad A records for mapping domain names to IPv6 addresses, name records for creating aliases, MX records for specifying mail servers, and other record types as needed. 4. Configure forwarding and route hints. DNS servers use forwarding or route hints to resolve domain names that are not part of their configured DNS zones. Configure forwarding if you want to forward DNS queries to another DNS server, such as an ISP's DNS server. Alternatively, configure route hints if you want the DNS server to query the root DNS servers directly. DNS server configuration is a critical task in ensuring proper name resolution and resource discovery in a network. Proper configuration of DNS zones, records, and server settings ensures that devices can locate resources by domain name, enabling seamless communication and network operations. Thanks for watching. For more information, like, comment, and subscribe our channel.